Have you ever struggled with your dinner rolls coming out bland or dry or just altogether unsatisfactory? Today, I'm going to teach you how to make our family dinner roll recipes that are absolutely delicious. Guys, these are my favorite dinner rolls ever, and today you're gonna learn how to do them. Let's get started. Hey you guys, I'm Abigail from Homesteading Family, and today I will be teaching you how to make sourdough Parker House rolls. These are absolutely delicious dinner rolls, and I love them so much because one, they're sourdough, and I love sourdough, and they're super easy to make. And we make these every year on Thanksgiving, and I'm usually the Parker House rolls person, so I am very excited today to be able to share this recipe with you guys. Let's get started. Alright, so here's what you need to make your dinner rolls. Starting with your sourdough starter, you need 1.5 cups of active batter and 1 cup of buttermilk, 8 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 eggs. I like to whisk mine first. You don't need to whisk them, that's just purely your choice. 2 teaspoons of salt and 3 3/4 cups of flour. Make sure the flour you're using is the same kind of flour you fed your sourdough starter with. For the supplies, you need a mixer of some kind. It can be a KitchenAid, or like if you have a Bosch mixer, that works great. A small saucepan, a bowl that has been washed, completely dried, and buttered. This is for the dough when it's rising later. Its lid, or if you don't have a bowl with a lid, you can just use a towel, that's great as well, and a cutting board or some clean workspace to knead your dough on. Okay, so step 1 of making your Parker House rolls is we are going to take the buttermilk, salt, 4 tablespoons of the butter, that's half of the butter, and the honey, and mix it together in a saucepan on low heat. It's very important to remember as you're mixing that the mixture cannot get above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you have any kind of thermometer with you, just make sure you keep close tabs on the temperature. And you're going to mix them together until the honey is completely dissolved and the butter is basically all the way melted. Make sure you keep it on low heat. Head on the stove. Just keep stirring it while it's melting, and remember to keep an eye on the temperature. That's very important. Alright, so the honey has been completely dissolved and the butter is melted. So this is all ready to go, and we're just gonna leave it here for just one moment. And over here at the mixer, we are going to put our activated batter and eggs right into the mixer. There it goes. Oop, use a spoon to get some of those extras out. There you go. All right, and our eggs. Very nice. All right, and now we are going to take our buttermilk mixture. Just go ahead and add that right into the mixer. There we have it. Okay. Now this just needs to be mixed on medium to low speed for just a minute or two until it is all combined and beautifully smooth. Pop that up there. Okay, so that is smooth. So next we are going to be using our flour, but before we use the flour, you need to go ahead and pull out about half a cup, and we'll be using that later for kneading, so go ahead and set that aside because you will need it later. Add the rest of the flour in. There we go. Grab my spoon again. Okay. And go ahead and mix that in until you get a nice, kind of stiff, tacky, but nicely formed dough. we go. It is done mixing. All the flour is completely mixed in. We have a nice dough here. You can see that that's still pretty sticky, but that's all right. That's actually just what we want. Okay, this is all ready to go for our next step. Okay, so we are ready to knead our dough. And essentially what we're going to be doing is, as we're kneading the dough, we're kind of like mixing in most of this last little bit of flour. Go. If you want, getting a little bit of flour on your hands and can help the dough from not being so sticky as you're trying to scoop it out of the mixer. There we go. It's beautiful dough. There we go. So now you're just simply going to start kneading until it is smooth and pliable, and that will take anywhere from just a few minutes to up to 5. Just as you're kneading, mix in the flour, and if you need to put more flour on your cutting board, then that's great. Alright, so I have been kneading this for a couple minutes. As you can see, I've used up most of my flour, and this dough has formed a beautiful consistency. It's nice and smooth. It's got like just a perfect bread dough consistency. So now you want to shape it into a ball, and we're going to put it into our bowl that earlier was buttered. And you want to cover this with its lid or towel if you don't have a lid lock bowl. And you want to let it sit in a warm place for about 2 hours to let it rise. Then we'll move on to the next steps. However, if you feel like, because this bread takes 4 hours in total to rise. And so if you feel like it's going to be too early in the day by the time it's done for hot bread rolls, then you can just put its lid on and stick it in the refrigerator for 4 hours before you follow with the steps coming after this. See you guys in a couple hours. Okay, so your dough has been rising for 2 hours, and now it is time to move on to the next step. So what you're going to do is, I have my cutting board dusted with some flour. Go ahead and take your dough out of the bowl. This will kind of help deflate the rise a little bit. There you go. Just help it deflate just a little bit. And then you are going to divide this into 12 equal portions. You can, if you want to be super exact, you could weigh it. That's what I used to do when I was younger, and I just loved spending time trying to make each roll perfect. But, if not, just go ahead and eyeball it, and that works great as well. Okay, there we go. That is 12. And this dough feels amazing. It's very soft, very fluffy, and it also smells really, really good. So what you're going to do now is just take each portion and form it into a ball. Kind of do that by kind of folding it in on itself a little bit, just like this. One side and then the other. Once you have your shape just right, flip it over in your hands and pinch the ends together, just like this. And then you have your nice little dinner roll. Go ahead and stick it into your pan. This is a 9x13 casserole pan that has been generously buttered. Lots of extra butter is good because it soaks into the roll and it makes it extra delicious while it's baking. Go ahead and just get all 12 of them put into balls and in your pan. Now that your dinner rolls are done, it's time to move on to the last rising step. So you're just going to go ahead and put a cotton towel right on top of the pan, set it somewhere warm, and let it rise for about another 2 hours, or until the rolls come to like just about level with the top of the pan. Once that's done, we're gonna be all ready to bake them, and I'll see you then. All right, so your rolls have been rising for 2 hours, and you can see they've kind of expanded a little, filled up the space, and they are looking beautiful. For the last step, I've melted the last 4 tablespoons of butter that we didn't use, and you want to brush about half of that right on top of the rolls. This will really help bring out that golden look, and it makes them extra nice and crunchy on top. Nice crisp crust. Once you're done brushing these, you're gonna go ahead and set them into an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees, and they need to bake for about 35 to 40 minutes or until the top is golden brown, and they have an internal temperature of 200 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Once they're done baking, go ahead and pull them out of the oven and brush the remaining butter on top, and you'll be all set. See you then. All right, so these are done cooking, and the very last step is to take the last little bit of butter left over that we melted earlier and just go ahead and brush it right on top. There you go. These look amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy them. Goodbye.